And there it
Hey,
is.
fam, way to be ready, buddy. Hi,
How we
everybody.
doing?
Welcome to the post-show recap. Hope everybody had a great show. I personally got to watch the show on a nice big screen for the first time this tour instead of on my phone, which has been cool. That was really cool. Before we get into the songs, I took a few notes. This was one of those rare. There you go. This was one of those rare shows where the second set had more songs than the first. The first set had 8 songs. Second set had 10. We got the double encore. We also got our first Game Henge song of tour, our first dancing song. We actually got 2, and then the first repeat with Weekapaw. So I enjoyed it. It was nice. We were just chilling back, kicking it on the couch. It was a nice way to watch the show tonight. How did you guys do it? Fam, how about you?
Oh, I had a blast. Absolutely. Incredible show. And in some ways, you almost worry about a step back after such an amazing show. Last night, and then it just, wow, still just rocking. And it's an interesting thing about that repeat. And Kev, you brought it up in our chat, that is it a repeat? I would consider it a repeat. I personally do. Now, Live Fish would disagree with us that Weekapaw wasn't really played. It was actually just teased or something.
What does Fishnet say?
Fishnet, I believe, also doesn't have it. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong about that. I actually have to check on that. But I know Live Fish for sure. On the replay back, it just says Runaway Jim, and then it's right into what comes next. Yeah, so it's a really interesting conversation to have. Of course, it's amazing how we can all disagree on something so simple.
I think if they sang it and I played it, because I know there's the whole party time thing. Did they do party time? But I mean, they did enough of it that it was more than a tease.
Exactly. And a great Weekapaw tonight, right? Yeah. Opened up with an incredible Sand, got real funky, real dirty right off the bat with that like gritty, grimy, new kind of Trey tone that I'm like, again, I've never been a big rah-rah 4.0 guy. I mean, I'm okay either way. But the more I hear of what this new era brings, the more I'm kind of like, there is a new sound and a kind of new thing that's happening that I'm kind of more leaning to okay with kind of giving it some sort of separate distinction, and it started right off with Sand. Everything's right. I thought the new tone came right in there as well. What'd you guys think of Sand and Everything's Right? Just started off.
The 4.0, what's going to define 4.0 is going to be Fishman samples. That's going to be the defining characteristic.
And the light show.
Wow.
I love, what I really love the new sound of is fucking 70s fucking prog rock Page with this fucking keyboard sounds. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Anytime. Yeah. Go ahead.
They really made some tweaks while they were sitting at home for a year or so. That's cool. I had a question for you guys since we're on at the topic. We're on Everything's Right in the first set. Would you guys consider that jam type 2?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too, fam. I'm sort of like,
yeah. I mean, it's on the record. It's like it is on the record, but it's never. I mean, it's so loose that it's a jam because it isn't something structured like You Enjoy Myself, which has a defined section.
Yeah.
It also gives to your point that maybe, where the Visitors thing, the whole big new synth vibe that Page had really kicked in after. What I thought was interesting about Everything's Right is that's this first version after Sigma, right, was released. So I thought it sounded a lot more like Sigma's version than what they had played prior to.
And the vocal at the end was different.
Right,
the nanas, and
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's the studio version. That's the Sigma version that they really didn't do, right. And then it became
an end. It needed an end.
Thought it was great. And then,
I'm saying the song originally, it seemed like they didn't know how to end it. And then when they put out Sigma Oasis, they figured out this is going to be the vocal thing that ends it.
Yeah. They just need that gospel choir back with them, to sing all the time. I'm sure they want to tour just for one song, but sadly.
Right. Turtle in the Clouds was next. We saw Mike almost fall off stage twice. That was fun.
So awkward. God bless him.
You know what? I come for the floor show. And then we got a cavern at the end with more floor show.
Right, yeah. More dancing, guys, more dancing.
Yeah, bring it.
Now, I don't know if anybody else has anything to say about Turtle, but now we get into the meat of set 1 here, the 1.0 marathon. Maze, Destiny, Unbound, Foam, Stash, Gin. Jesus. God.
That's what you do to end a first set. And this is something that I think is important to bring up in this maze. And I saw it on Twitter. I'm going to give a shout out to Trey Talks. He's awesome on Twitter. He's got kind of focuses on what Trey banter and what Trey says. But he put it perfectly. He said, this is the summer of sustain, right? And the maze had it again. So this is a theme that is happening all throughout these first three shows, is this where Trey is back into holding long notes throughout like awesome parts of songs. And the maze had it again. And CK5.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with the new Koa 4.0, the new guitar.
It has to. It has to be some
It's
sort
got
of
different pickups in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're getting that.
100%. Then Destiny. How fun
Where's
was
Trey's
Destiny?
guitar rig when you need him?
Yeah, we'll have to have him on next time to give us the rundown. Exactly.
If he knows, if he's seen pictures or whatever.
Yeah. So, Destiny Unbound, always welcome. Never hate it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it isn't always welcome.
Again, this is where, and I hate to bring it back, and please throw the red flag the red flag, I don't even know. I'll combine soccer and football here. But the samples just keep happening, and I keep writing them down. That was the
best part of the song.
Dude, I thought it had a really exactly emo that who doesn't love a good maze, but I thought it had a smooth little funky fun jam, and then it's yeah.
I'm like, man, I chuckled.
I chuckled too.
It was worth the price of admission for that.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you again. I'll promise not to bring it up, but if in 5 shows we're on the show after a show and you guys still think and still are chuckling, we'll have a different conversation. But here we go. I'm predicting.
I'll get on after Nashville and tell you that
it doesn't interrupt anything. Like, it doesn't take me out of the jam. I mean, and I think that Fishman, I was saying to my buddy as we were watching it, Fishman said, basically, fuck you to all the haters with that Cavern Encore with that thing. He's like, yeah, it's here to stay, guys.
That was a sample solo. That was hot.
That was dope. So dope.
Are you trolling me? Like, I don't know if you're trolling me. Is the question.
I really love it. I can't wait till Nashville and see it live. I'm going to be like, fuck yeah. And I hope they do Birds too, so I get both samples from.
I love how the audience was getting into it during Stash too. They were, instead of the clapping, they were going, yeah.
That's where I started to be just really, this can't be happening. And then, we can get the Foam was so well played. Foam, anytime Foam is great.
Much better than the last one. It wasn't the one in Connecticut or something in 2019. They kind of flubbed it.
Yes, it's a tough one, man. I mean, I always remember Trace or somebody saying, if you want to start a PHISH cover band, you have to play Foam. If you can play Foam, then you can do it. Right? That's like the rule. Stash, wow. And the lights, the smoke monsters, just it almost turns into this like Indian trance, like not the, the country India type, just incredible. It went back to kind of some of those Arkansas simple things that were happening where it was just spooky and like 2.0-y almost, just Stash, A+.
Oh. Yeah, and then Jin to close out the set. I think we all saw that coming. And it was great. It was good. Overall, I thought the first set was better than the second set. We'll get into the second set in a little bit. I'm not going to be too critical, but for me, this was the solidest first set of this tour so far. So
strong versions of Stash and Bathtub Gin, but not earth-shattering, not groundbreaking.
No,
or anything.
no, but I just thought the song choices, and I'm going to get into that in the second step too. I thought the song choices were really good. They were well ordered. It
Right,
felt
that was the first Picture of Nectar song.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it was also we got the first Jaunta song.
Yeah, with foam.
Yeah. With foam.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll get into the second set, Chad.
Let's go to the second set. The fucking Chalk does, man. Baker's dozen what? Who?
Oh, he's trolling out there. I think it's an interesting conversation for sure, and it's got to be in it. I mean, and you know what it does too? It has that really cool fade effect, that like fader, that wow, 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 wow deal that I love from 3.0. I adore that moment, and I'm like, oh, please bring that back, you know, and boom, here it was with Chalk Dust again. The lights. I'm calling these lights tracers. They're almost like purposeful tracers. It's almost like CK5 is like, I know y'all have always been seeing tracers. Like when you see my lights, I'm just going to make them happen. Definitely LEDs. Yeah. So cool. Yeah. What do you guys think? The Chalk Dust.
Well, I think they took Chalk Dust to where we expect Chalk Dust to go now, especially when it opens set 2. I mean, going back to my old 1.0 days, Chalk Dust was never jammed out, really, you know, and it wasn't until, you know, and so I love that they use it as a jam vehicle now.
And it was always complete back then. Yeah. You didn't get the open-ended thing.
Yeah, so I was really happy with that. Now steam into fucker pants.
Can I just say that 25 minutes is the new 20 minutes from here on out? And if you don't do a song for 25 minutes, I don't want to hear about it.
I didn't have a clock on Chalk Dust. Was it that long?
It was 26.
26.
26.
Yeah, and Steam, I love Steam, but it got fucker pants. It did. It could have been so much more.
I couldn't have been happier. This is where you and I are going to split. I am not a Steam fan. Just personal, not a Steam fan.
Sure.
And Caspian's jam section is just, it keeps getting, that's what she said. The Caspian's jam section section keeps just getting better and better, in my opinion. Like, I think they're taking it, and they're taking it as far as they can.
Summer Sustain again. Going to go back to that. He hit another long, just awesome, peaky note that was there forever. Wall of sound for a while, right? Super gnarly tones again, like that new tone that you like going. You keep coming back to. Is happened all through that. Our guy Matt for Math, he texted. I always talk about Sexy Goose, and I'm always a little critical of PHISH for being not sexy enough. But this Steam got a little sexy, and it always. I mean, that's the song that maybe does get there. And he said,
"Yes."
Everybody
always says that.
Sexy PHISH.
Oh, it does. And the lyric, it's fucking telling a great story. It's one of those lyrics you can listen to 20 times and you find new things and you put together different narratives. Like Jack Straw. You can listen to Jack Straw 100 times and you never really know what happens in the song.
Joey's here for the long sustainers. That is a plus, Joey.
Before we move on to Golgi, I did notice one thing during Caspian that I think affected the rest of the set. I think Trey blew a vocal cord because he was going, he was hitting those high O's and he was like really going for it. And even my buddy was like, oh, he's really going for it. And then I started to notice, it wasn't bad by any means, but I started noticing throughout the set little things starting to fall off. And like, we'll get to it, but like, Golgi. I saw you with a ticket stub in your hand. You know, he was going down on it. And I was like, oh, that's because you blew your voice out in Caspian. So.
And I couldn't have told you he did that.
Well,
it's subtle. And I was just something I was noticing a little.
Well, I don't even know what key people sing in. So.
It's happened. Honestly, Chad, I think it's something I totally, as someone maybe that has, if there's any kind of expertise I have in music, it might be a little bit in singing. And I think you're exactly right that they're exploring some different territory with their voice, and Trey in particular. So there's times I thought in MoMA the other night where Trey just like went for like the more studio album, like higher, tone, and the whole band had to kind of step back and let him go because they weren't ready for that harmony. They were like, "Oh, Trey's going for it. I'm stepping back." So that's happening a lot, which I think is awesome.
I don't sing that high.
And I think it comes from this Tansky, right? The wizard behind the curtain. Tansky has given Trey, I think, some confidence in his voice, and he's also given Trey the tools that when you're not hitting it, when you're not doing it right, man, here's where you go that'll make it listenable,
Right.
So
Paige Tansky Celebrity Deathmatch.
I bet they're best buddies. I feel like they're like best friends. They probably, they're probably tighter than Trey and Tansky.
Right. And so after Golgi, what happened?
Oh, it gets really interesting, right?
This is where I got confused because Golgi AC/DC bag felt like misplaced. Like it was like, like when does Golgi go in the 4 hot spot and the AC/DC bag going to go in the 5? I mean, not that you can't do it, but it was just like it was confusing.
It seems like they're purposely pushing stuff around.
Yeah, well, it feels like they threw a bunch of pieces of paper in the air, whatever landed, they played, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, Golgi was Golgi. I mean, it was fine. It was great. It's as fun for the fans. The I saw you moment and all that stuff, and the lights were fantastic. So, AC/DC bag. Yeah, I don't
First
know.
game end song. That's a good thing.
And then the Shade was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love Shade. I'm a big Shade fan. Yeah, absolutely.
People really like Shade. It's a popular tune.
It is interesting that people do like it. And then the mics. Okay, so here we go. We're getting back into more like, oh man, here we go on this second.
I thought that was crazy because I was like, well, it's kind of late, and then I was like, I wonder if it's Mike something out. No Weekapa. Is what I was thinking in my head.
Interesting, because maybe they already did it, right? Because there's that piece, and then it's an interesting mics, but it's pretty much just it only has the first jam, and then just right into the Silent in the Morning, right? And I like what our guy Dr. Dave said, too, that it's a weird mix of set list that's happening, which I think maybe that's a 4.0 thing too, of like,
well, I like Silent in that slot in the sandwich. I Am Hydrogen is fine and everything, but I've always liked Silent in that slot. Also, it was really the only Page song we got tonight.
Right. I'm a purist. I gotta have a Hydrogen. I want the 3 together. The Mike's groove. Just give me the whole thing. Don't mess with me.
Yeah, I can see your point.
It was Mike's. It was Mike's Simple forever. Every time I heard Mike's, Simple was out of it. So I was like craving Hydrogen.
Yeah, and it is a sweet, so I can see not breaking it up. So you kind of make a valid argument there, but
much like your yard might sometimes crave hydrogen. I think, is that something that goes in your yard, or like a chemical you might use to nitrogen? That's what it is. That's another.
When you die, you become part of the nitrogen cycle as your body rots.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Well, okay. Well, let's.
Way to bring the room up. Way to bring the room up, Kev.
And then back to our repeat conversation, right? And hit us up in the chat. What do you guys think? Tell us in the chat. Hit us up on Twitter. Maybe that'd be a good poll. Maybe we can throw out. Do we have our first repeat or not? Maybe after the show here, and folks can vote on it, because that's an interesting conversation.
When I was going into the Encore, I was thinking there's only one album they haven't played a song off yet, Joy. So I thought for sure we were gonna get a Joy to open the Encore.
Wow.
But we did.
How do you guys feel about ballads in the Encore?
I love it. Broke Down was the greatest thing ever when they sang Broke Down. I mean, you just walked out all warm and fuzzy and
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but no, I just mean kind of in general, like when PHISH does it, because I've read people's comments and stuff like that, and we'll open it up to the chat too. Do you like, because a lot of people want to go out with a rager, but I've always kind of been like, nah, I need to come down a little bit. That's always been my preference.
The case for leaving people with a rager is they want more. They're like, what the fuck, man? So if you're trying to help all the bands playing after shows, you play a rager. But if you don't like who's in town, you play something slow and you screw them.
This guy. Life Beyond a Dream is an interesting choice because it's kind of semi-ballad, but then it gets going at the end and it has some interesting stuff. And then of course
Susan
the Cavern.
I think Susan should take that song for her own, and Trey should let her have it. When whatever that was, Lock-In, is that where they did it together a couple years ago?
Yes, but Susan should sing everyone's songs and steal all of them. And so that's almost a little bit unfair. But okay, then let's get to the Cavern, where I was thankful you guys didn't take my bet. I put it up in our thread that I got 5 on Trey messing up the lyrics. I think he got through them okay, but I also think he cheats maybe a little bit now, and they've got all those.
Oh, he was reading Golden Age. You could tell he was looking down, reading it on the iPad the other night.
And then maybe as we're wrapping up, I know we're tight on time, and our producers are telling us that they're really, they're backstage going, let's go. No, I'm joking, but I know we're on that.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we're doing Seaside. But let's have this conversation on this sample overload to end this Cavern. This you guys just loved and adored. Let's tell me more of how and why.
It's funny.
Right, Fishman never does a drum solo, and that's as close as he did the anti-drum solo in Hampton once, where he played the most boring thing ever. Yeah. But this was his other drum solo, and it was just samples. Yeah,
and like I said at the top of the show, I was saying I think it was a big middle finger to all the haters that he reads Twitter. He sees people going, I hate the samples. I love the samples. I hate the samples. I love the samples. Just let it be. Just let him have it. PHISH is going through a divorce. Let him have this.
I know. I've got to look at it from a little different lens, and I'm trying to. Again, do
you think it bodes well? Do you think it has something to do with what's coming for Halloween? Like he's practicing playing with it.
That's some interesting business. Yeah. And you're convinced, and maybe the next thing we've got Kev, our guy, our archivist, right, maybe is looking to figure out who is saying yeah on that sample.
I think it's Chuck D.
He's convinced it's Chuck D.
Cool. For a second. Fear of a female planet. Yeah. Fear, baby. Fear.
I don't think
maybe it's just me. I told you I was going to try to. I should extract the vocals from each of them.
You could do that.
From March and Madness, and then see how close they are with nothing underneath.
Do it.
We'll get off this in a second, but regarding the samples, and then maybe this would make you happier, fam. Somebody on the main timeline on Twitter I saw say it would be cool if he used better sounds, like the sound of like a rain stick, or the sound of like wind, or more natural sounds.
Boring. I want Scent of a Mule with a sample duel between Page and Fishman.
That's funny. That's funny.
Time to put the samples in the jar. That is right, my guy. And the other piece is I would agree. So I think that's our guy, Skoy. I'll just drop his line. Are almost to be, changing his throne, our Wook of the Year there. But he said, and he's mentioned that it's just kind of amateurish samples. What is it? Is it like a joke? Is it supposed to be part? I don't know.
Like Chad said the other day about the drum kit back in '96. Trey was learning it on stage in real time. Bob Weir, when he first started playing slide, he was learning it in real time back in '79. Some of those early songs are just, my God, what are you doing, Bobby?
Oh, just the early ones. Just the early ones with Bobby on slide, definitely. They got so much better.
Nah. Jesus, you guys.
Let's end on slamming Bobby. No, we love you, Bobby.
Why not? We love you, Bobby. Slamming Bobby. Yeah, and just
great show. Oh my God.
Great show.
They are on fire. They are
Marnite's gonna smoke with that tweezer. Maybe we'll get a tweezer fest all over the place all night.
I got tweezer, no man in no man's land tomorrow.
A Divided Sky.
Well, Divided Sky, good call.
But I think they're going to do that in Nashville because the way the place is set, the sun sets behind it. So if they do Divided Sky at the right time, like song, first set, we will get it going behind the venue. Wow. Just a thought. Yeah, I think Trey might think about that sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
There was a traffic light behind the venue in Arkansas. that was visible, and they played Slave to the Traffic Light. You know?
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
no
cool.
covers. No covers tonight.
Yeah, after our first couple the other night as well.
Yeah, we got a couple the other night. All right, guys, they're going to shoot us if we stay too much longer. Thank you, everybody who's been in the chat talking. We love you guys.
Oh, well, maybe get that post up and see if at some point and that poll and see if that was a real repeat or not. So look for that at some point. Yeah. So heck of a show. How exciting is this that they're already playing in like mid-tour form and we're like 3-4 shows in? Like, come on, stupid.
Right on. All right, guys. I'll talk to you. I think I'll be back on tomorrow as well. So I'll talk to you guys then.
All right.
See you on down the road.
See ya.